Hi everybody, this is Carla again. This time I'm coming to you with a review for episode 3 of season 3 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, which is titled A Wanted Inhuman. And now I have to say I'm kind of astounded, really, because usually, seasons start off really powerful and then in the second and third episode they kind of start winding down a bit, and there's like little advancements in the plot and whatnot, but not anything huge because you have to cover 24, 23 episodes, and they have to pace themselves a bit. So usually they keep all the big stuff for the mid-season finale or the season finales, and you don't see that climb up. Usually around the time the third or fourth episode of the season comes by, I'm kind of bored, honestly. With other shows and other seasons, that is what's happened. But I have to say, I'm really, really, just really impressed by what S.H.I.E.L.D. has been doing. And I mean the show, not the institution. What Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been doing this season so far. Because honestly, it feels like every episode there's a big wham. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like they're slowing down. It feels like they have all this plot to get into, and it's so much that every episode has a little bit of a punch, and it might not be season finale punch, but it keeps me interested, which is not something that usually happens with other shows. So honestly, I really like this episode too, and I find it very impressive for a show that so many people say used to be so slow in the first season. By season 3, they really caught their stride. They know what they're doing. They know where they want to go. And I'm really impressed because it's not something that happens usually. So basically, in this episode, the main plot was the ACTU is, of course, trying to get to Lincoln, and Lincoln is freaking out because he doesn't want to go with Daisy because she's S.H.I.E.L.D. He obviously doesn't want to get caught by the ACTU either. He's just trying to live his life, right? But he can't because the ACTU has plastered, like Rosalind Price has plastered his face all over the news, and people are freaking out because he's been touted as dangerous. Which, I mean, technically his powers are dangerous, but Lincoln's a sweetie, He's clearly not dangerous to those of us who know him, so he's understandably freaking out. And the whole episode is pretty much about Daisy and Mac trying to reach him and get him to come in with them, because S.H.I.E.L.D. for them is the better option than going with the ACTU, because they don't know what Rosalind Price is doing to the people they capture, right? We honestly have no idea. She said that they're not the ones killing them. That's Lash, and that's another thing, I guess. But we don't know what she wants them for. She says they're not gonna cut them into pieces like Hydra did, but we don't know that. We just have her word for it, so that's kind of, you can understand why Daisy would be so eager to get Lincoln out of her hands. So basically the entire episode is just mostly them just trying to do that, trying to get to Lincoln. We find out that Mac injected a tracker on him, which I thought was pretty clever, because let's face it, I mean, obviously Lincoln isn't going to like it. Daisy isn't going to like it because she doesn't want humans to be tagged like animals in the wild or something, which is understandable. But at the same time, they want to bring him in. They have to have a way to locate him, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but that's what happens. And they find him with the tracker and try to convince him to come in. I really feel for Lincoln. I mean, since the last season, I've been saying I really love Lincoln. I mean, he's such a sweet guy. He just wants to help people. And he really did believe that being a human was something of a calling in a way. Like, that they would have to use their powers in order to help humanity and be better than the people who are using their powers for bad, for evil. He even convinced Daisy, like she says in the episode, he convinced her that her power was not a curse, that it was a gift. And now his life is crashed around him, and he just can't see the other side, you know? And it's so sad, because if anybody around here deserves to have a good life, it's Lincoln. He's such a great guy. He's a doctor, he cares for people, and he just wants to do the right thing. And it hurt me so bad, the fact that his sponsor died. Because, I mean, I'm not an alcoholic, so I've never been in a meeting like that. But I can imagine that when you hit rock bottom due to alcohol, your sponsor is kind of your lifeline, right? So this man, he had Lincoln's absolute trust. And just out of paranoia and fear of what we don't know, he just lashed out against Lincoln and turned him in. Just because he doesn't understand what's happening. And that's what Coulson was telling Price, that, you know, she's only creating paranoia. And paranoia creates danger, not from the alien threat, or whatever she wants to call them, but from the people themselves. So it was just so sad, because even as the guy lay dying there, Lincoln still wanted to help him. I mean, before he walked out, he apologized. He left the money there for the car. And then he tried to resuscitate him. It just makes me feel so bad for him. And I really love Lincoln. I'm just saying he better end up well, because if something happens to him, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm so done. He's such a great guy, and I just want him to do well. I don't know how he's gonna do that, because he's not going back to S.H.I.E.L.D. now, not after what Coulson did, which, by the way, I totally don't agree with. But that's just, I want something good for him. I don't know how it's gonna happen at this point, but I do hope that it happens. Speaking of Coulson, the whole, like, I really like the banter between him and Rosalind, but at the same time, the whole thing where he gives up Lincoln just to save Daisy, no, Coulson, just no. I mean, come on, Daisy's a hacker. I'm sure she could pretty much hack into the database of the ACTU and erase her own picture or something. Like, there are options, okay? You don't turn in someone who needs your help just to save Daisy. And that's kind of the bad judgment that he was called out for last season. And he's still doing it. Like, I understand that Daisy's important to him. I mean, she's important to me too, and obviously I don't want anything to happen to her. I don't want the ACTU to find her either, but at the same time, it's her decision. You can't just pick and choose between two people. If she's willing to take the risk to protect Lincoln, then let her do it. She's a freaking grown woman. You don't have to make her decisions for her. So, and there are other ways. There are other options. So, I don't agree, Coulson. I just don't agree. And if the easy solution was, hey, so let's start working together like he did in the end, why didn't you do that before? Why didn't you make that offer before? Like, why did you have to make Lincoln's life even worse just when you had another solution? You had a plan B. Why didn't you go with that? Like, I don't get it. And I don't necessarily understand Coulson. I hope he gets called out for it, because that was not a good decision, Coulson. I'm sorry. I mean, I like him, and generally speaking, I'm on his side, but this time I just can't. I can't. Probably because I just really, really, really love Lincoln. But apart from that, speaking of love, though, I really like that they're finally getting somewhere with the whole Lincoln-Daisy thing, because, let's face it, that was coming since the previous season, and to be honest, I really like it. I mean, This is complicated. I mean, I think Chloe Bennett has chemistry with so many people on this show. Like, so many. I shipped her with Ward. I could have totally shipped her with Fitz. And just the Lincoln thing, they spark. No pun intended. Actually, no. Yes, pun intended. There's a spark between them. And I really like it. And I'll be glad if she can actually find a boyfriend who's not evil this time around. You know what I mean? Like, she deserves it, and Lincoln deserves it, and they just, if we could just find a way to bring them together without all the politics of the thing around them, that would be good. The other part that I really like, I liked all the parts, that's the thing. I really liked, the little buddy team up between, May and Hunter. I'm really starting to like Hunter. For me, usually he was there. I started to like him, like, late season 2. And now I'm pretty okay with it. I mean, he's funny, he's daring, he's brave, and he's also, like, stupid brave, so I like that idea of him being sort of a jack of all trades, who will do anything just to get the results he wants. He even sacrificed himself, which was pretty funny because when May was kicking the asses of those 3 huge guys in some dark room without so much as breaking a sweat, there was poor Lance getting beaten up to within an inch of his life by one dude. And the juxtaposition was just so funny. I mean, I probably shouldn't be laughing at the way he was, like, covered in his own blood and stuff. That was kind of gruesome, but I couldn't help but find the whole thing funny. And I wonder if they did that to lighten the mood, actually. Because the visual was kind of really gruesome for a TV-14 show, so, I guess they did. I don't feel too bad for laughing, honestly, because really, the dude was huge, and Lance could still beat him, but just the fact that May had no problem with 3 huge guys while Hunter is here, like, half dead because of one dude, that was funny for me. And I really like their exchange in the safe house with Lance asking about Andrew and, who left who and whatever on the bed, that sort of stuff. I like it, and I like it when May kind of lets things out unexpectedly. I really want to know what the hell happened between her and Andrew. At the same time, I just like that she's, like, little by little dropping hints, so that's very interesting, and it's just, May is not the type that's going to open up and tell us everything, just blurt it out all of a sudden, so I think it's good that she's starting to open up little by little, and also that just means that she's actually starting to trust Hunter, so that's good because he's earned it, honestly. I don't care. That whole thing about the Fight Club to get to Ward, that was like, again, like I said last time, at this point, I don't really care about Ward. I don't think his idea of restarting Hydra is terribly valid. Like, I don't think you can just lead Hydra by declaring yourself the leader of Hydra. I think it's a little too easy. But, he's kind of running this thing as a leader of a gang would, rather than the leader of an evil organization, so I don't really care. I just like the fact that it brought Hunter and May together to work together, like, this time around. And then there's the whole Fitz and Gemma thing, and please excuse me because my emotions are, like, skin level right now, and the whole thing was just so, if you hear me, like, my voice starts coming out weird, it's because I just have my hands on top of my mouth because the emotions are just kind of pouring out of me right now. It's a bit reminiscent of the previous season, the way it started when Fitz had the brain damage, which by the way sort of disappeared out of nowhere. But Fitz had the brain damage, and Gemma sort of had to, like, try to bring him back into the real world in a sense. And I wonder if this is just something they're playing at, like, back and forth. Like, oh, it was Fitz first, now it's gonna be Gemma, and the next time it's gonna be Fitz again. And okay, you get tired of it, but this time, at least now, it seems to be working because they do have a legitimate reason. I mean, if you are trapped for God knows how long in some weird alien planet and being hunted by something, then you probably would be really, really messed up by the time it returned. I really like the little effect they did whenever Gemma got distracted by something. I wonder if, because it was a very particular visual effect, and I wonder if it's not so much that she was distracted, or she feels something calling her somehow. I'm not sure, but it's interesting because now she has stated that she has to go back. Why does she have to go back? Is something they're calling her? Did she leave something behind? Is there something she needs to understand in order to, like, help back at home somehow? Like, what is going on? Is there something wrong with her? Apparently that they cleared her all the tests kind of cleared. So it doesn't seem like something came back with her, but could it? Like, did something take over her mind? Did she get possessed somehow, or kind of controlled by something? What is going on? So that was that was a pretty big deal. That at the end, that scene with Bobby where she's like, no, I have to open it again. We don't know how. There are a lot of speculations that I can raise up. But I'm not going to, because honestly, it could be anything, and I'm really bad at speculation. Like, I always get things wrong when I try to speculate about what's going to happen. So I'm just going to let them tell me. But I think it's really interesting to, maybe it's some kind of Stockholm syndrome or whatever. Like, she feels she's become part of that world or something. I don't know. It could be a lot of things. But I just think it's really interesting that the first time she finds herself back in the lab on her own volition, it's to actually try and go back. I mean, that tells you something. I wonder what Fitz is going to say when he finds out. But for the moment, they're just breaking my heart, okay? And the way he kind of just grabbed her hand and, you know, took her around the lab and whatever, never letting go of her. And then, oh God, Fitz and the reservation that he held on to for like months. And he cleared the restaurant just for her. And it's just, oh God, he's killing me. Can I have a Fitz? I want a Fitz. But really, it's all so sweet. And you can sort of see it in her eyes when she starts crying in the restaurant, that she's so overwhelmed. I mean, she appreciates it, clearly, but and it hurts her that it had to be this way because of the way she feels. So I really want, I'm gonna say this again and I'm so sorry, but I really want them to have a good resolution to this, because they've been doing the back and forth thing and the will they or won't they thing for the last 2 seasons, and I really want this to be the one where they actually come together for real. So I guess it all depends on what is wrong with Simmons. Why does she want to go there? Is she in full capability, in her full mental capabilities at the moment? Like, is that her talking, or is there something else wanting to go back through her? So, is there a respective reason for it, like a legitimate reason for her wanting to go back? Isn't just some kind of impulse out of Stockholm syndrome that she might have because of being stuck for such a long time on that planet? I don't know. It could be anything. I just want them to tell us. And I don't think it's going to take too long, because, I mean, she outright told Bobby. Bobby's not going to keep it quiet, I'm sure. So, we'll probably go back to that one declaration in the next episode, and I just hope Fitz takes it okay. Maybe they can go together. It would be really romantic to just go to a weird alien planet and be hunted together, right? Not. But I pretty much guarantee that he's not just going to let her go back on her own. That would be bad. I mean, really bad. I hope that's not the plan. So yeah, overall, they freaking break my heart. And then Lincoln and Daisy freaking break my heart too. And this whole episode just freaking breaks my heart. And I love it. Also, Constance Zimmer as Rosalind Pride. Perfect. I have to say it again. She is so great. She's so great. Honestly, like, her banter with Coulson is perfection. So, I can't wait to see more of her. I can't wait to see more of all the other guys. I'm still hoping that they give Max something decent to do because, again, he's kind of just still there. I want to see more of him. Maybe give me some backstory or something. Something that makes him a bit more interesting because otherwise I just do not care. And if we don't have to see Ward for a while, I'm good with that either. I'm good with that too. So, I guess we'll see. But just overall, I'm really impressed with how strong S.H.I.E.L.D. has come in this season. And it's just really good job. I have to applaud them for that. And I hope they keep going that way because it might really be one of the best shows I'm seeing at the current moment, you know, which is something that was kind of ridiculous to say back in season 1 because so many people were bashing the show. And okay, I liked it, but it wasn't at its best. Now it's at its best. And I hope it keeps going that way. So here's hoping for a great 4th episode as well. And I will see you guys then on my next review, I guess. If you guys want to hear more about the show, previous reviews for previous episodes, just go to our website at geekypub.com. We have a bunch of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes in there, reviews for the episodes, as well as other TV shows, movies, books, games. We have a lot of stuff, so be sure to check it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.